All stands for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Roll call.
Yes, sir. Donna Mosier. Here. Eileen Dunn. Rick Agler.
Here.
Brenda Owens. Here. Barry Burgess. Lemaine Eifert. Here. Ed Weiner.
Here.
All right, we got Miss Eileen coming.
There she is. Okay. Proof of notice, John?
Yes, Ed, as per your documents and Florida statute, notice was posted.
Okay, disposition of prior meeting minutes. Motion would be in order. So moved. Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay, treasurer's report. Motion would be in order to accept it as passed out. We have a motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. All right, manager's report.
Okay, first, we have the seawall project with our engineer. There's discussion later on in the agenda about that project. The swimming pool deck drainage project has been completed. We're still waiting for a substantial rain to test the, I don't know what word to use, but to test our project, our drainage. We're still waiting. This last storm we didn't get the kind of rain that would give it a good test. The fitness room equipment has been ordered. A work order was placed for $27,300 for the new equipment as presented at the last meeting and approved by the board. Later on in the agenda, we have proposals to review for the Brevo fob access contract. We also have proposals to do some work in the RV lot on today's agenda. For the month of October, violations, total number of 122. Of those new were 57 and resolved were 92.
Okay, John, didn't we have to do something about the contract with GA? Because
It's later in the agenda. We have it. Yep.
okay. All right. Okay, ARC committee.
Ed Heber for the ARC committee. We have 26 to approve. One we have for you as a review. All we ask, it meets the criteria as far as this storage unit, but it doesn't have the listing of where it's going to be walled. And section 9F says it must be, not be on the frontal wall of the residence or a back wall of the residence if it's open to view. Vinyl units must also be attached as a safety factor. Request that be sent along with the okay on that.
Did anyone try and call them? I move to approve the 26 recommended for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, what do we want to do about this one? Just tell them it will be approved if they attach it, Ed?
Yes, attach it and it has to be on, as it says, on a, predominantly should be on a sidewall. It can be on the rear wall if it's not in view, though.
All right,
It can't be on a frontal wall. That's the two things that they need.
so you will contact them?
Yeah, we can contact them, yes.
Okay,
It'll go in the letter.
It'll go in the letters.
all right, great.
I make a
Thank you.
motion that we approve the one for board review that was submitted by our committee.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. Inspection criteria, Jerry Beers.
Good afternoon. I just wondered if you guys did your homework on our last 3 months ago or 2 months ago when we did it. You guys are supposed to look at that thing, and if you have any changes, then we can continue on with your changes or continue on with what we gave you guys,
Why don't we continue on?
with what we gave you.
Yeah.
All right. That was easy for me.
Yeah.
All right then.
So do
Thank
you
you.
want to go over any of this?
Well, no, if you guys looked at it, I hope, and like I said, we'll take it from there and work on our next group.
I have a question about number 4, the house, where it says no personal items on front lawn. What does that mean?
No personal items on front yard.
You can't
So
have,
if I have a statue I want to put out there, I can't?
If the statute is allowed, then you can. Whatever is allowed, you can do. It's in the rules. We're not changing the rules.
that's already in the rules.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
but you're saying people are putting basketball courts? I know I've seen that in Driftwood. There's quite a few. They just kind of put them up at the sidewalk.
They're putting things like basketball courts and, sometimes they're sticking trash cans and stuff like that in front of the house and stuff like that.
Yeah, you have the mic.
Okay. Is that better?
Yes.
Sorry.
Let me just clarify something. This group, we're not changing any rules. We're taking the rules that you have in place. It's up to you guys to make the
So
recommendation.
you're just highlighting.
We're just highlighting
Okay.
what they're looking for. That's all we're doing. We're not changing anything. We don't have the authority to.
Okay, I just wasn't
So are
sure
we
what you
ready
were
to
talking
give
about.
this to the inspector?
No, we have to get together so we can put them in order and then get your approval. You'll have it at the next meeting,
Okay,
all right?
question?
Those personal items, sometimes we see pictures with people with bicycles on the front yard, chairs. I mean, just, those are personal items, wheelbarrows, trailers, all kinds of things, just.
We'll clarify it more for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is in the rules.
Thank you, Jerry. Okay, committee reports.
Jerry Beers, Live Oaks. I just want to give a short thing, like everything's going fine. Our dancers are doing real good. Our Veterans Day, it was quite the thing. It was great. Now we have that projector with the flags and, that was a good addition. Dancers are doing real good. And the holiday decorations is coming up. I believe it's November 28th, Monday after Thanksgiving. Paula was supposed to be running it, and Beverly's going to be here to help them. They went through the shed, got everything ready, So, and I think they're meeting at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, but we'll put it on that Facebook thing and we'll advertise out there what time that they need people to show up to help.
Well, you need volunteers.
Or we need a lot of volunteers. That wants to follow instructions, not volunteer to come and do what they want to do. It's already planned out, So,
Jerry, I have a question. We've had some talk about doing like a vendor show. I think you did that before with the
Right,
Christmas
right.
thing. Is that happening?
Not this year, it's not,
Okay,
but we plan to do it next year.
thank you.
Any more questions?
Any other questions for Jerry? Hearing none, thank you.
Bonnie Lipsky for the Fines and Suspension Report Workshop for 11/16/22. Hearings were held on November 8th for violations approved at the 10/19/22 Tuska Board meeting. Total of 7 violations were received. 4 violations not enforced. Corrections were made. 3 violations enforced, all lawn and landscaping. Fines enforced for 50/days to $5,000 maximum. Bonnie Lipsky from the Finance Committee.
Okay, which ones were not enforced?
Which ones were not enforced? The ones with on the lawn and landscaping violations were enforced. The ones that had lawn and violations for them were. And I don't have the address.
You should have gotten a full report.
You should have gotten the full report on that.
That's just.
Okay, thank you. Any other committees? Gym committee.
Okay, this is just a quick update on what's going on. Looks like we're putting a date out there for around the middle of January, but we're hoping we're gonna do it before then. He said half the equipment's on its way to their place, and the other half hopefully will be here before the end of the year. And what they wanna do is come in, take everything out, give us the rest of the day to go take the mats out, clean the mats, and they're gonna come back the next day and put all the equipment in. And he asked me if, because they're bringing in a box truck up with all the stuff in, if there's a place we can put it, why, so they don't have to bring the box truck twice. And I said, I don't see why there's no problem putting it in here for a day. I didn't think there's any problem with that. Besides that, it looks pretty good. Everything looks like it's getting there.
So they want to leave the truck here overnight? Is that?
No, what they want to do is, see, they're bringing the box truck up to bring all the equipment up. And then they're going to unload the new equipment and then load up all the old equipment. And then that way, if they bring the stuff in, they want to know if they can put it here or something. So that way we can have that rest of that day to go in there and have maintenance, take all the mats out, power wash them, put them all back. And then the next day they'll come up in a car. That way it won't cost them as much in fuel. And then put all the equipment in. And I told them I didn't think there was any problem with that.
The only problem I see is if there's, depending on if it's the end of December and we have anything going on in here, but I'm sure we can find somewhere to.
That's what I told him. I said, if it was like, I know like we do a lot of things on the weekends, like dances and stuff. So
Right.
he seemed to think it would probably be like the beginning of the week or something. But he would let me know better what dates for sure before they come.
That sounds good.
So it sounds like they're gonna pull the equipment out, put it in here or someplace.
Out of the box truck, and then put all the old stuff in, take it home, take it back with them. And then the next day, they're gonna come up and put all the equipment in. That gives us the rest of the day, because he said it'll only take a few hours to get everything out of there. And then you can get maintenance to come in, pull the mats out, power wash them, get them dry, put them back down before they come in the next morning. And that should take more than a few hours, I don't think, to pull the mats out, power wash.
John, you have anything on this?
I would expect that to be a failure. Pull the mats out to try to clean them. The code base would have to be removed. We'd have to install new code base. You're talking about some significant, strong glue and you're trying to get it off of a porous rubber surface. It's not gonna happen.
We don't want to turn them over, we want to clean them with the side that's up, John.
Oh, I see. So.
But we know that the other side
Take them out.
we know the other side's ruined, so we can't take them outside and power wash them because they're not getting clean like they should be. They should be mopped at least once a week.
They are.
Well, they look pretty dirty. So anyway, this way they'd be power washed, they'd be nice and clean, and we're putting all nice clean equipment in, it'd look really nice on there.
Are they glued down, John?
So there's a combination of old glue from the previous carpet, but there's two-sided carpet tape that holds them down. So if we were to take them out, it's a significant job. We don't know how long it's going to take them to come in and remove everything. So we're talking about a very limited window of time probably for maintenance to do that in an afternoon. Code base would have to be taken off. New code base would have to be glued down. And I don't know what, with that rubber matting, I don't know how much dry time you need before you lay it back down. And then you're going to two-sided carpet tape it all back down. If we're going to do that, the seams are all in line. You want to offset the seams, which means our maintenance guys are cutting rubber mats and re-seaming it. It's first of all, it's not necessarily a job I would want our maintenance guys to do just because I'd want a flooring guy to do it. You know, the same reason.
I disagree on that. I don't think it'd be that hard to take those mats outside and power wash them. They're all the same size except for I already looked at them. They're all the same size except the very first row coming in, they're shorter, they're cut shorter. And pull them out. I don't know what you're saying about the double face tape, but you can go in there now. That double face tape is dried up. They pop right up out of there anyway. And I mean, I looked at them.
You could number these mats.
You can number them, but to be honest with you, Eileen, they're all the same size except for the very first row. The very first row's a little bit shorter. You can go measure them. I already looked at them.
They did cut some by the.
Yes, on this first row, the very first row. And to put them back in. Now, he said he would give us another day if he wanted it. I mean, if that's what you want. You want another day? He said, as long as they can bring the equipment in here, put it someplace, pick up the old equipment, then they don't have to bring a box truck back twice is what they're trying to say. They don't want to be trucked twice. So he said he would give us another day if that's what you want. But that's up to you guys. But I really think they should be cleaned, thoroughly cleaned. And that might take care of, like, people are complaining about smell. I can't smell. I have a sinus problem, so I can't smell. But anyway, I think it's something that wouldn't be that hard to do. I've talked to a guy in maintenance, and he seemed to think that it wouldn't be that hard to take out either. So, and buying the double face tape, putting that down, that's not going to cost us that much. And that rubber you're talking about goes around the wall. That's not very expensive. If we had to replace that, that's not that expensive either. I don't think. I mean, I've done it myself, so.
I would like, I think if they're flexible in days, if they can give us the extra day, I would prefer that. I want it done right.
Okay.
You know, we don't want problems with this down the road. And we want it nice.
Right, absolutely, I agree. We want it to look nice. They just painted the room, so the room looks nice, but now let's clean up the floor, make it look really nice in there.
Do they have suggestions for cleaning the mats or?
No, but I be honest with you, I cleaned one of those rubber mats, it goes on underneath a golf cart that not mine, but somebody else's that I did their garage. And I said, I wonder how that would work. So I took my power washer with the rotor head and I cleaned it off. When I got done, all that dirt and grime and everything came out, it looked like a brand new mat. And so that's why I told Ed about it. So I think that would be the easiest and quickest way to make them look really nice.
That's feasible, John?
There's also a concern about will all the matting survive taking it out, power washing it, bring it back in, especially the matting under the current universal.
And if it doesn't, we replace it.
We don't have it on hand.
No.
It might be a further delay.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do with it.
Eileen, you have a question?
Now, I don't have a question. I just think that power washing them is a great idea because we can really get them clean that way.
And if we did have a couple of bad pieces, we could probably put the good pieces underneath the equipment, the new equipment. And then when the new ones came in, we just replaced those ones that, yeah, work around it. Why can't you work around stuff? I mean, that's how you do things. Okay, that's all I got.
Okay.
Yeah, we looked into where we do get mats from, so we know that, so we don't have to start fumbling then if we need.
I don't know where you guys I don't even know where you bought those mats from, but I know they're good mats. We had them in our gym in New York. They were down 20 years that I
That's
worked
not
there.
my question. We need to know where, so in case we have to react quickly, we don't spend 2 days trying to figure out where to order.
I'm sure we can find a place.
I'm sure you can, it's just a matter of timing.
Right.
But we will use whatever ones aren't suitable to keep and fill them in the spots where we need them and then replace them. as we
Right.
need.
That way underneath the heavy equipment would be covered. And then all we
Get
have to.
those alphabet ones, I see those at like Toys R Us.
Yeah, but I'm sure we can get those rubber mats. I'm sure even the company we're buying them from, they probably even have the rubber mats. I mean, that's part of a gym. So I'm sure it's something they would even be able to get if we needed. I can ask that question. It's a good question. I will ask. I'll let you know. Very good. That it?
Any other questions for Dave? Jared?
Mine is, I would like to see you guys, if you're gonna bring it into the gym, to have them bring in the early part of the week. Because if they bring it in on a Thursday or something like that, and something goes wrong, now the whole weekend is tied up, then we're going into the next week. So my opinion is if you can get them to bring it in, like on a Monday, but there's different things going on. Because I don't know how much room that you guys take up in there and how much room we're gonna lose.
Like I said, it would only be at the most because of what you're saying about the mask drying and stuff. They wanted to do it in 2 days, but if it took 3 days, if they came in on a Monday, he would let me know and I can tell him that we don't want it until Monday. I mean, if it comes in, looks like it's gonna come in like on a Thursday, Friday, what's another week if we wait till the following Monday and have them come in on a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to be all done.
Right, I would just say, run the dates like that, because she knows what's going on.
Well, like I said, soon as.
In this whole place here.
Soon as.
There's a Christmas party going on.
Right.
And there's,
Right.
on the outside.
Like I said, soon as I get a good date, I'll be more than happy to do that.
Yeah.
Little background noise there. Could you tone it down?
Okay. I will call him about the mask.
All right. Thank you, Dave. Okay, unfinished business. Engineering services. Update on the seawall, John?
So we have two things on the seawall project. Well, three things actually. I talked to the contractor that's doing the foam injection today, and we're still on schedule for it to hopefully start that project on the Monday after Thanksgiving. The seawall contract, we originally approved the contract that was $23,000, I believe, and some change. And when we approved that, there was a little issue with our engineer being on vacation, and then he got very ill while he was on vacation. So he didn't have an opportunity before we approved that contract to go over the specs of the contract to see how it compared to the specs that he had drawn up. So since that point in time, he's had a chance to review it. I've had a better chance to review it. We both talked with the contractor, and the engineer felt it best to upgrade some of the specifications in that proposal. So this new proposal meets the engineer specifications.
Okay, so we need to vote on this.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm sure. We already voted and approved the original one. And how much was that for? Like 23 or
23, just over 23,000.
Okay, and this $29,200 one will replace that, correct?
It will, and there's some minor changes to the proposal. The big changes are, one, the length of the panel is longer so that it goes further down into the sub base. The second change is where the spillway is, they're doing a concrete curbing on top of the existing concrete curbing to match the height of the new wall. And the third change to the contract is to regrade.
Okay.
To meet the height of the new
My
seawall.
question isn't I just want to make sure we end up with only one contract and it's a total of 29.2.
Correct.
All
I
right,
move we accept that.
motion has been made to accept the upgraded change. Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Do we have any idea when that will? Do we have any idea when they will be able to start that or work on that?
When I had initially talked to them, I explained that we'd like for it to be done either just before or in conjunction with or just after the foam injection, but we would really like for this to be done before the end of the year, just to speed up the process, right? So then, when I talked to them, this is more than a month ago when I had that conversation with them. It didn't sound like that was going to be a problem. Since then, since we got the new proposal, I haven't had that conversation with them.
There's another thing we're looking at is removing that, I don't know what you want to call it, the mountain or whatever that is next. And yeah, the mound that
Right.
we don't know what's in. Will that need to be done yeah, that's ridiculous. Will that need to be done before the seawall is?
So it does not need to be done before. They're going to install the seawall, and then they're not bringing fill in to regrade to the seawall. They're taking it off of the mound. They're just going to push it off the top and regrade it down to we're getting proposals to do more with that mound. I've talked about 5 different contractors trying to get proposals. We got the one that everyone probably thinks is on the high side. So I'm trying to, and I think that's from the same company that's doing the seawall. I just don't think they want to do it. So that they gave us a high number, hoping we would say no. So I'm trying to get more proposals for that.
You want to address about the county?
So we did have the county, I forget what his title is, but he's in charge of that department that would do some type of corrective action with that. It's probably been 4 or 5 months that I've been chasing him to get him to come out. He finally came out, and you get that same county song and dance, like, ooh, it's not ours, but maybe we'll help you out. So I'm expecting a positive outcome. They're just dragging their feet.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I've got this $15,300 proposal here. Is it possible that in our backfilling of the seawall, which doesn't include this, that we're going to be taking the mountain partially down? Then we should look out for bids and maybe I got a lesser amount, because part of the work will be done.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's an accurate point to make, Rick, and that proposal's here, but I didn't anticipate you guys would vote on it because we're still it's only one and we're trying to get more and we're trying to reduce that cost. And so Rick, to go further with your point, not only might you wait because of that, but you might wait because of what's the county's intention.
Okay. I propose we table this.
Table the mound you're talking about?
We don't have a proposal yet. We haven't voted. We haven't made a motion.
We couldn't take this meeting.
Okay. Eileen?
I have a question on this. Is this the only proposal you have for the 15,000 for the third?
We're getting more. We're trying to get more.
I think what Rick was saying is that maybe hold off on getting the proposals till we know what's there. Is that correct?
We're a little
Hold off on it.
premature, but that's better than being late.
Yeah, because it won't affect the seawall at this point, so let's work on that after the seawall is completed and we see what's there.
Okay.
Do I need to make a motion for that, or can we just let it?
We can just let it go.
Let it
No,
go.
I'd say hold on.
Waiting
Okay.
on proposals. Okay,
Yes,
we have
well,
a proposal for, change order because of the concrete.
so for the seawall project, they've given us it's basically an invoice for extra work that was performed during the course of the project.
The drain project.
The drain project, correct, yeah. So I personally think the amount that they're in, now this is after negotiations and conversations, the initial change order was much higher than that. So they saw it my way, and I think this is fair and reasonable, and I would suggest to pay it. And in fact, I think I sent an email along these lines that we also got them to do some extra asphalt work. I would suggest to pay this and add an amount to cover the asphalt work that they haven't invoiced us.
Okay, so a motion would be in order to accept this change order, $3,620.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Donna? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Now, John, since you so nicely asked them to take with the extra asphalt and fill in some of those spots, do you think we'll get a bill? Okay, so we can just let that go for now. Thanks.
Okay, the RV lot. Barry's not here, but John, you want to fill us in on what you've done?
So there's a couple of issues at the RV lot. One is, earlier this year, someone had driven into the gate and bent part of the gate. And that prevented the gate from closing completely. So the contract, I don't think the contractor straightened the gate. The last I checked, it's been a couple of days, but he did adjust the gate, and the gate's now completely closing. And we still want it straightened, so that's still pending if he hasn't done it this week. But it is closing completely as of Monday morning. We actually think because of Mark's pressure on him, we think he came out over the weekend and fixed the gate this weekend. So we're still waiting for the straightening. We could have a proposal to run the electric service to isolate the two gate controllers on their own circuit. That's in the packet, and we've also done some research into potential camera installation.
Okay, so do we need to approve this electrical contract?
So Ed, the proposal that you have, that's a worst case scenario. I have talked to them. We don't need that much. You see the measurements, it's not that much. So I'm expecting if they do this work for that total amount that they're going to bill us to be reduced.
I make a motion, we approve up to that amount through the wiring work that's shown by the, up to that amount.
Do I have a second?
I'll second so we can discuss.
Any discussion? Eileen?
This is your only proposal on the fixing the gate, and I guess I'm wondering, this will be charged to the people that use the RV lot?
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
So when we figure out the budget, it'll go to the RV people.
Rick, would you like to
Okay.
address that?
Well, yeah, we do that anyway. We're gonna look and see what we build up in the reserves and stuff. And if it's not, but we have been doing that in the past, keeping them, we just have to make an adjustment. We only can do it annually, obviously, in the rate on the lots. In case I failed to mention this electrical work, this proposal was $7,545. Not to exceed that.
And that's to run electrical line to the gate. Right now, there's apparently electrical for all the parking spots in that area. Well, when someone plugs in their RV and turns the air conditioning on, tends to blow a circuit. Well, I don't know why they want to turn the air conditioning on, they can't live there, but then the gate won't open. So we want to have the gate on a separate circuit so that won't go down if the other fuse or circuit blows.
John? I think he's correct in what he said, but is it also that we'd end up with like 3 circuits because each gate side is a separate on a separate circuit.
Right, that's correct, and there's another reason for doing it also. We think it's creating failures other than the breaker tripping, burning up control boards and stuff of that nature. The manufacturer is telling us that.
Does this correct the problem with the gate once this is done?
Which problem is that, Eileen?
Well, I don't know. They brought up last meeting that they had problems opening and closing the gate.
This is something that should have been done with the initial installation of the gate. The manufacturer, so if you go back in time, a year and a half, sometime last year, right? We had, I think, 3 control boards die on the 2 gate controllers. The manufacturer told us it's because we don't have an isolated electric service and they will no longer do any more warranty work unless we isolate the service. They think that's contributing to the failure of the devices. So the complaint that yes, when the gate stays open for a month at a time, it's because we're waiting for control boards. We're hoping this takes care of part of that problem.
Just from my belief here is that this is not going to cost the general membership anything. It's going to cost the people who use the RV lots. And we will make an adjustment in next year's if we need to. We're going to analyze it, make sure what we do. It appears that there would have to be an adjustment at this time. That we make an adjustment in the amount that we charge per lot. Right now, we have an extremely low rate. What is it, 240 a year?
I think it's 25 a month.
25 a month, okay. Or that works out to 300. But anyway, you know, it'd be another slight adjustment up. And I think if you shop the area right now, you can't seem to get anything less than about 65 to 90. You know, to park an RV.
So you're talking about us paying this if the money is not there and then recouping it from them in the next year when we would have to most likely have to raise the fees.
That's correct.
And can something be done about the RVs that are sitting in the lot that plug in and blow the circuits with their air conditioning or their RVs plugged in for other reasons?
That might be a scenario where you change that rule, like you would put a penalty if that happens, because it's easy to identify them, they're plugged up. Right, if we go back to the breaker strip and somebody's plugged up, it's easy, or when we do routine inspections, if we see that problem, we can identify that maybe later on in the agenda, we're talking about that postcard and potential art changes. If you want to add a penalty in the RV rules or something, maybe that's the time to do it. I forget if your RV rules are part of the covenants or if they're separate from the covenants. I forget.
I think we need to look into that.
You have something?
Rob Sipneski, Farnham Court. I just have a question on this. When the circuit breaker, if somebody does use it on an air conditioning for their motor home or whatever, is the breaker currently accessible so they can flip it within the confines of the RV storage lot? Where is that breaker, may I ask?
There's a breaker box in the far north corner of the lot.
Okay.
It's not locked, it's accessible. Some people know that it's there. Some homeowners have started tripping it back forth.
Okay, so it is accessible. Or it's to those who want to know it's accessible. If we made it more accessible or made everybody aware that it trips, could they, if they did trip it, could they not re-trip it or, I mean, reset it?
The problem with that is they would have to know they tripped it. It may be after running a while, or maybe one kicks on and another kicks on at the same time. It will then trip it. No one could be there. So you wouldn't even know it was tripped.
Okay, I'm just.
I know John and our maintenance people are constantly checking, and it's often the problem.
Could an alarm be placed there that indicates the trip breaker? That'd be a lot less than $7,700 for a circuit.
You have to do that anyway.
Okay.
7,700 isn't for the RV lot. That's just the gate wiring.
Okay.
So that it's separate and doesn't keep blowing or needs to be working at all times.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, John, but if they blow the breaker, you're not gonna get the gates open. Under the current
That's
system.
correct. And I also don't know that I would encourage the average homeowner to reach into our power box. And I think that also probably gives people a hall pass to plug in their unit.
It's a board's decision, $7,700 versus, if this breaker is running both gates, I was under the assumption that there was a breaker for each gate. So there is a possibility, I don't know the layout there. I'm just saying the board has to make a decision, $7,700 versus putting a trip alarm out there indicating to whoever is in that lot. I agree with Rick. I don't know how they're going to get out if the breaker is tripped while they're there, unless they leave the air conditioning in their unit on all the time while they're not in there. But I'm just saying, it's a pretty good hunk of change for just adding another circuit where there's, there are other options.
The 7,700 will be spent regardless. The tripping of the breakers inside for the air conditioning doesn't have anything to do with the gate breakers that need to be put on. That's totally separate. Am I correct, John?
You're right, but he's right also that just refresh my memory. There are right now 2 circuits that run the outlets down both walls, both of the perimeter walls, and they end up at the 2 different control boxes. I think they're 15 amp breakers, and people are plugging 30 and 50 amp services into it. And it doesn't trip immediately. You can run your unit, you can run your air conditioner, but the line heats up and it trips the breaker. The hotter the day, the faster that's going to happen. But we don't want to forget about the maintenance problem that we've got 800 feet of wire, some of it 12 gauge, some of it 10 gauge, some of it 8 gauge. It's all hodgepodge together. It's going through GFI. Some of them work, some of them don't work. We've replaced many of them over the last 2 years. It is causing maintenance issues with the gate controllers.
John, I just got one last question. The power panel you're talking about, is it just a regular normal breaker box that like we have in a kitchen or at our homes? Okay, so it's a regular enclosed box. You open up the door and you can trip the breaker, reset the breaker if you want. Okay, thank you.
Dave? I got a couple of things on this, because I have a camper down there, and I understand what you're talking about. My camper, now most of the newer campers are 50 amps. Mine's a 30 amp. I would not run my air conditioner on the less than 30 because it'll burn up your air conditioner, for one thing. So I know what happened one time. I brought the camper back, and I have a propane and hot water on my hot water tank and electric. So if I go to a campsite, I use their electric course. And I came back and I forgot to turn it off. And he called me and says, "You got something running in your camper that keeps tripping the breaker." I knew right away what it was, but I would never the price of an air conditioner, I can't believe anybody would run their air conditioner off that system because that's not a 30 amp system. So I plug mine in mainly because it helps keep the battery charged because, and when I'm down there, if I want to do something, but I don't ever run the air conditioner. So I don't see that. And then another question, you said somebody hit that gate. Did their insurance pay for to fix the gate?
We don't know who did it. It's just bent.
No. That's my other question because I didn't know. I mean, I knew the gate got hit, but I was wondering whoever hit it, their insurance should have covered the problem that made the whole problem come in the first place. We didn't have a problem with the gate until it got hit, right?
And Dave, you're a good example. We didn't know until we were just doing routine weekly inspections of the RV lot. The gate's bent, it's not closing properly.
Right.
So, but you're a good example of when we do those inspections, we don't even necessarily always have to walk along the back wall to see who's plugged in. If it's a hot day, you just listen for the air conditioners.
Right.
And it happens more often than you would think.
I would think if somebody left their air conditioners because they forgot to turn it off. But like I said, I remember that one day you called me about it would trip. I tripped and I knew right away what it was. It was the hot water tank. And it was because I forgot to turn it off. It happens.
So that's the norm. We'll call, like Dave, I don't remember calling you, but we'll call and say, hey, maybe you forgot, you
Yeah.
plugged out, your breaker's tripping. We do that one time, and then we just unplug them.
Like I said,
Dave, we didn't have to unplug you, right? You did.
no, I came right down, took care of the problem. I knew what it was.
Thank you, Dave.
Yep.
Ellie?
Ellen Malilly, Gold Pine Drive, 14019. I'm just questioning, at one time, the RV lot used to be part of the budget. And the former treasurer would give a breakdown of everything we're talking about here as to what cost, how much money we had in the RV lot. And it was very informative because at one time it took a long time to get the RV lot together years ago. And we had a booklet on it. So I don't know what information is available now, but it probably would be helpful for even the board members to, again, have, I don't see it on the budget the last few times when we mentioned it to the former treasurer, then she came up with a separate part of the budget explaining what was going on with the RV lot, especially now with so many people using RVs as compared to years ago. It just seems to me we should be more aware of what money they have, what they're paying per unit. And like you say, that big gate that was put in actually it's been asked, who paid for that? Did we pay for that? The insurance paid for that? So I think a little more detail maybe needs to be given to the RV lot again. At one time, we had a committee of RV, and they would give the reports verbally. And then when that stopped, they started to put it on the budget so that people were aware, which perhaps those that have the RV lots would be interested anyway. So it's just a suggestion that maybe a little more attention should be given to details on the RV lot. Thank you.
Make it short, please.
I will. Thank you for letting me speak. And it's not on a circuit breaker. I just wanted to say, when the finance committee, when it was going on, my recollection on the gate was that it was, and if you can go into historicals on this, you can look at it. It was probably, I might be exaggerating, but it was very often, it was probably a routine maintenance item there. Somebody drove into it, somebody broke it, somebody bent it. And I'm going to say it was probably a routine maintenance item that took place about twice a year. So just a thought, you might look at the historicals. There's got to be a better way to maintain that gate.
Go ahead, Rick.
I don't want to draw this out. But my wife's not. I don't want to draw this out, but it's my impression that the RV people who have parked there have always paid for everything. So, I mean, it's not a big deal to the rest of us. And so far, we're what, $300 a year, $25 a month is doing it. And I know there's a small reserve that builds up with that. Now, whether that's big enough to handle all this, I'm kind of doubtful if I recall. And we'll look at that at the end of the year. And we've got a budget committee that works on that. And they'll get into that to see what's what. Thank you.
Okay, any more discussion?
You probably don't want to talk about cameras today. Do you want to leave it as an agenda item for when Barry's here?
Okay, we have a motion on the table, been moved and seconded, to pay up to $7,545 to run the new electrical. We'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, Veterans Wall, Jerry.
This isn't Live Oaks asking for it. This is Gary Beers and some other people. It was brought to our attention that we would like to have a veterans wall to honor the veterans. and down the hallway by the sewing room, in between, I think it's the library and thing on the left-hand side, the sewing room. We like to put that wall down there, and then pictures of the veterans, 3x5, that we would get made up off the slideshow that we have. And we have two women who volunteered to keep it up and running and make the pictures all the same size and stuff. But that's all we're asking. You know, there's things that have to be figured out later on. How long does the picture stay up there? Well, I mean, when you run out of room, I mean, there's all kinds of different things. But we're asking to get it started. And then you guys can make the decision what to do with it after that.
Okay, any questions for Jerry? Hearing none.
I think it's something we should really look into, but I'd like a proposal, maybe get some answers to some of your questions, like, are they gonna be framed? Who's covering the cost?
It's not framed, and I don't know who's gonna cover the cost. That's what I'm saying. So that's where we're asking. It's whatever. I'm just asking that we have a veterans wall. Because I'm not covering the cost.
Well, I knew that.
I can't even pay for my meals.
Yeah, right.
Oh, besides your meals.
I think it's a good thing. I think, costs can't be astronomical, and I think it's something that should be done here to honor our veterans. I know, so many people were amazed at the veteran celebration. It was a great celebration, by the way. But so many people were amazed how many veterans we have here.
Yeah, and that's what we're worried about, how big the wall is. But we can't say, eliminate World War I, eliminate, and it's sad to see when people pass, you come down off the wall.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it wouldn't make the families feel good, but again, I don't know how much room that you would give us, and, but that's why we went to board to control it, and that way there, you guys can get the blame.
Yeah, that usually is what happens, yeah. What are other opinions?
Eileen?
Yeah, I mean, I really like the idea. I'd just like to see a little more detail, like how big,
Well,
how much.
the pictures are 3x5, so.
And how many pictures do you have?
Well, there's roughly 140 pictures, and that's just right now, and that's just pictures of the things, like, we don't want to put, what can I say, we don't want to put like pictures of guns and ships and, we just want to put pictures of the residents that lived here. So, I mean, and that's a big space as of right now.
Yeah, well, you have like a committee to do this?
No, that's what I'm asking,
Some people to help you.
not help me, I don't want anything to do with it. It's just that I was told I have the
Somebody's gotta
big,
do the work.
but I have the big mouth. And I was told,
It's a great idea,
you
but
know,
we need some people to do the work.
yeah, and like you said, and we had two young ladies who are very talented in writing and drawing.
Are they willing to chair a committee?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have chairmen for the committee.
Who would that be?
Well, Darla and Diane. Like they said, that they're the ones that stepped up. But again, like you said, it's, first they have to get the authorization, where it's gonna go, and, and they can figure out the numbers and stuff like that. I just think it's great, that we have the veterans that we can honor.
I think we should maybe post and see if there's anyone who would like to work with them and then get more information. It's certainly something I think the board would have voted, and I think we'll probably approve it, but then we need someone to work on it and get back to us, and we can keep going that way.
Because what they were talking, like, if a new residents come in, they would ask them, hey, you're new residents, if you're veteran, if you have a picture, and then we can ask them to make the 3x5.
Okay.
Just to get it started, knowing that there is a place to go to, so they can start figuring out the numbers.
Okay, so a motion to propose a Veterans Committee to form a Veterans Memorial Wall, not memorial. A Veterans honoring wall.
Yep.
We need a
I'll
motion.
second that.
But nobody made the motion.
All right.
I make a motion that we, look into and start a veterans wall to honor the veterans of Timber Oaks. Form a committee.
And where at?
I'll second
The
that.
committee will have a sign up at the office.
No, but where at?
On the
So what
library
wall, so they can
Well,
work
let's
on?
find out how much room we need and then.
Well,
sign up
yeah.
the wall. There's plenty of walls.
We'll get you a wall.
Okay, that was the motion. You get that, Debbie?
I'll second
Okay, we
that.
have a second.
I'll
We
second.
have some more discussion behind Jerry.
Yeah.
Look at this. Got people.
Sit down, Jerry.
Hi, Jennifer Smiley, D25.
Turn the mic down a little.
Jennifer Smiley, D25. I have an alternate thought, coming from a long line of veterans, having been married to one, having had my father, grandfather, etc. I'd rather see an outside memorial with a plaque honoring all veterans from Timber Oaks. That way you can do it one and done, have flags of all the United States, of course, and all of the military installations, groups, Army flag, Navy flag, Coast Guard, etc. And have it perhaps where you're taking the mound down, outside where everyone could see it, and have it on somewhere on common ground. I have other people that have expressed thoughts that way too. The idea of the 3x5 plaques, although lovely, this is not a military installation, this is a clubhouse. It's for everyone, not just veterans, although we do honor them and respect them. How would you decide when to start? You starting with the ones now? What about the ones from the last 30, 40 years? Why are they being slighted? Where do you draw the line? And that's one of the issues that he presented. So just a thought.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Sega 14116, and another thought. Rather than 3x5 photos, because photos do fade, sometimes with humidity they'll curl. What about a wooden plaque with like the brass names, engraved on those, like you see in many facilities that are honoring special like policemen and whatever. Just a thought.
Thank you, Ann.
Muniac, Versailles Lane. I would like to second the idea that Jennifer brought forward. One, you don't have to worry about spelling a name wrong. Two, you don't have to worry about someone who's a veteran that does not tell you they're a veteran. You don't have to worry about a veteran who lived here 25 years ago and no one knew that they were a veteran or doesn't remember them. You won't slight anyone's family by taking down a picture because somebody passed so many years ago, or they moved away, if they move away from Timber Oaks, do you take the picture down? If they've only lived in Timber Oaks for 2 years, do you put a picture up? And not everyone would want their picture on a wall. And someplace outside would be more, we could, on Veterans Day, do something by the flagpole or the monument. I mean, you can get a really nice hunk of granite with an inscription to honor all veterans from all the services. Just a thought.
Thank you, Sue. Gary?
I know I spoke, but I like the idea of what Jennifer said, so I'll put that Just something to honor our veterans, that's all I'm asking for. Whether it's a picture or whatever, but I think what Jennifer said, especially if you're gonna tear that up, that would be an ideal spot.
You want to change your motion?
Well, we still need a.
No, I like my motion. No.
No, because we still need a committee.
Just,
Yeah,
Let's just get a committee together. I'll rescind the motion and make a motion that we form a committee to look into a veterans memorial or
honor.
an honor, to honor our veterans somehow. Let's get a committee to look into it and costs, and I think it's a lot less. Oh, I can't talk. I'm just making a motion. Okay, I'm done.
Second,
You need a second?
is there any more discussion?
I'll second.
Rick did. Okay. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Okay, our access contract, John.
So right now, the fob access for all the doors and to the clubhouse and the gates to the pool are fob activated. That's a Brevo system. Brevo will not let us use their system without a vendor between us and them. I currently actually have 4 proposals. One of them is for a brand new installation of a different kind of system. But the other 3 are apples to apples for that service. And the price is comparable on all 3 of them.
So which ones are the apples to apples?
So you've got ADT, which is $120 a month. You've got Security 101, that's $105 a month. And the Simple Access is the one that's the different system. And then you've got the MCS, it's a bunch of pages. It's basically $120 a month, but they charge a setup fee and of some other charges to that initial year. So it kind of narrows it down to Security 101 and ADT. And I would suggest ADT for because of responsiveness.
They're who we currently have, right? So when is this due?
The contract that we currently have, I think the expiration date's January 21st. If you were to go with someone other than ADT, that they would need a head start.
Okay, the term length is 36 months.
Correct.
3 years. Any discussion? Okay.
I know we've talked about this, and I think most of us are kind of ticked off at ADT because when we switched to the 24/7 on the pool and the clubhouse, they gave us no breaks. They held us to our contract. So we'd rather not use them, but then we're cutting our own throat, so it doesn't make any sense. They are, talking to you, they are receptive. They come here right away and they take care of things. So if we're talking a difference of $15 by going to Security 101, we have no idea what they're like or how they react to things. So I think we should go with ADT.
You know that saying, when you cut off your nose to spite your face? I'd love to do that. I've done that before. And
Yeah.
I'd love to do it with ADT, but it just doesn't
No.
make sense.
Eileen?
Does this Security 101 have a setup fee?
They did not, no.
No.
The problem dealing with them was getting them to respond, right?
So ADT is very responsive. The company that wanted to install a new system, they were very responsive. The other 2 proposals, it was classic Florida or worse. I mean, emails and phone calls and text messages, and it was difficult.
Can we please hold down the talking so we can hear what's going on, please?
Did Security 101 get back to you right away? I know numerous times you have to keep contacting people to get them, so.
To get the proposal, I think for both of those, Security 101 and the other one, it was about a 2-month process with constant hounding.
Okay. Are we ready to vote? Do we want to vote on this today?
I just want to make sure the motion is for.
We haven't made a motion.
We haven't made a motion.
It's not made yet, or?
No, she just said what you prefer.
I so move. I move for the ADT contract.
Second.
Brenda, did you want to say something?
We just made a motion for the ADT.
There's a difference, Brenda, $15 a month, or, yeah, a month between ADT and Security 101. We've had ADT and we know their response time if there is a problem. And so we've made a motion to go with ADT at $120 a month, 36-month contract. Thank you.
Okay, any more discussion? Call for the vote. All those in favor of ADT, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right. New business, fines and suspensions.
I move to find the owner of 8114 Los Alamos Drive, $50 per day for maintenance that is in violation of Toxis covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I move to find the owner of 8041 Merrimack Drive, $50 per day for lawn and landscaping that is in violation of Toxis covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I move to find the owner of 11050 Elderberry Drive, $50 per day for lawn and landscaping that is in violation of Toxis covenants up to $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, that's it for fines and suspension. Okay, homeowner mailing.
Notice.
Have a proposal to send out a mailing we have to send out one for the audit report anyway. So there's a proposal to send out this mailing, and I will read it to you. Notice is hereby given that the Board of Directors of Timber Oaks Community Services Association will convene its regular meeting on Wednesday, December 21, 2022, starting at 1 p.m. at the Timber Oaks Community Center. At this meeting, the board will discuss and adopt additions and revisions to the architectural and aesthetics guidelines. Notice is hereby given that the audit report for the 2021-2022 is completed. Any objections?
We're gonna move. I think it requires.
Just a notice.
Okay.
Maybe explain what we want to change as far as the architectural and aesthetic guidelines. We don't want to tell you, I guess.
No, we want to change the idea of the flag issue. It's already addressed in the covenants, and the architectural guidelines talk about other flags that can be flown, and we want to take that out. People can fly whatever flag they want as long as it's not political.
And that can all be discussed at another meeting after we get the cards out and everyone knows. It takes a mailing in order to do that.
I thought I heard not political nor religious.
Yes.
Or religion.
That's been a criteria.
Okay, so do we have to do anything else for that? John?
And if you're thinking about rewriting a rule that exists in the architectural guidelines, we would need that proposed written rule before the meeting. If you're just thinking about deleting that line in the art guidelines, we probably need that in writing, just delete line 3 of paragraph 2, or what, we would need something documented that you're going to vote on at the meeting.
So we just have to post that before the meeting.
Or at least have it potentially post it and have it in case somebody wants to come and get a copy of it prior to the meeting or.
Or at the bottom of the card that will be sent, it says copies of the audit as well as copies of the items to be discussed at the meeting may be obtained from the association office in the clubhouse or viewed on the website. When are the cards being mailed?
Well, Debbie will get them to the printer soon to get it in time for the next meeting.
Okay.
They need 14 days notice before the meeting, so.
Okay, so that gives us time to put together, and maybe the art committee can look into this or define something for it.
We probably have about a 2-week window before we should have.
There will be an art committee before that.
I mean, the postcard, Debbie needs the authorization on the postcard now, but before you write the rule, we have about a 2-week window. Is that right, Debbie?
So do we vote on this, sending the card out or not?
Debbie needs somebody at that table to tell her to send the postcard to the printer.
If we're gonna do it for December,
Can't
you're
change
gonna
the
wait,
guidelines.
'cause we're getting close to the time frame for me to mail it out, otherwise you have to wait till January.
You got enough time?
It's
We
close.
say yes today? All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Assuming her printer says aye. If not, are we giving Debbie authorization if they can't get done to do it for the following meeting?
Can we put that on the card?
They'll
So
tell
we
her.
don't have to send two cards?
She'll know before the card's printed.
But I'm saying, if we can't give notice in time, then,
Please, ladies.
You can't send.
Right, we can't. So the motion has to state if we can't print.
are you talking about the change in the arc or both?
You have to send the notice card in time for the meeting, otherwise you have to wait on sending the card so it goes out for the next.
Are we talking about the audit as well as the change? Okay. I thought we were only talking about the change. Okay.
We're trying to do one mailing to save the postage.
Okay, so that's taken care of, right? Everybody voted? Okay, correspondence, 8021 Los Alamos Drive, we have a function request. Someone here?
Paula Lanham, Meadow, 21
And
Los
speak into the
Alamos.
mic.
Paula Lanham, you got my address, so I need to say it. 8021 Los Alamos Drive. Put in a request to have a vendor bender like we did last year. And I was in that vendor bender, it was very successful, and was disappointed that we didn't have it this year without any notice of, not having it. So I'm submitting a date. Would like to host it. And I've never done this before, so hopefully I've done it right.
This is usually done by the live oaks.
Well, they told me it also had to come before you all. To request a date.
No.
You already have a date down.
Did we check with the office on the date?
Wait, Jerry, you're saying we already have the vendor?
We already have a date.
For next year.
Yeah, we don't,
That's what this is.
we don't have a house.
Would it,
Well, no.
You want to host it?
I do, but when I talked to you, you said I had to submit for a date.
oh,
No, we have the date. You just have to tell us that you want to host it. And we'll tell you the date that you're not.
So you're just gonna pick a date.
We already picked it.
What is it?
I don't know. I don't have anything memorized. It's in writing.
Okay, what can I find out?
Yeah.
All right.
Is that date even?
Go to the Live Oaks meeting.
Well, I thought I was doing the right thing doing this because, I
Right.
was told that I had to submit it for both.
You still need to check with the office to see if the date's open.
Live Oaks has already done that, Eileen.
All right.
So
Just get together with Live Oaks and they'll set you up for everything and hopefully we'll see you in a year.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay, next on the agenda, 10620 Salamanca Drive, function request.
Hello, Cindy Randall, 10620 Salamanca Drive. I'm just here today representing the pool class people, ladies. They wanted to see if we could possibly include Wednesday morning in addition to our Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. At 10 o'clock.
It starts at 10. When does this end?
11 o'clock. And then when the season changes, it goes back to 9 o'clock. But right now it's 10 to 11. I've been watching since I've been going last several months to see if we had any conflict with people coming in, not being able to use the pool, and I have not. We may have one or two people come in, they see the pool classes going on, they go in the hot tub, or they sit on the side until we're finished.
I think
And the class has increased quite a bit since we switched to 10.
We gave you an extra day last year, right?
I wasn't involved in it last year,
yeah.
sorry.
We did.
Was that
We
the Friday?
increased it from Friday to Friday.
Okay.
Would you like?
My concern is just that, the pool's for everybody, and usually when you have a class in there, it kind of pushes other people out.
Right,
And,
I understand that.
so that's my concern. Some people come in the morning and swim laps,
Right,
and
yeah.
if you've got a bunch of people standing there doing exercises, and they all want their space, and so
Well,
it's hard to do
I
that.
totally agree with you on that, Ed, but honestly, I haven't seen that.
You guys take up half the pool.
Yeah, but I mean, if it was a conflict, I would even bring it to you. I don't see it happening. I haven't seen it since I started. And I started it probably in January of this year, on a regular basis.
I know from summer till this week, there's been a big increase in the amount of people in the pool because our snowbirds are coming back. I'm not in favor of tying it up for another day. You're talking Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Mondays are pool cleaning time.
Right.
So it ties up the pool an entire week. I think, the balls are out there. You can take exercise equipment into the pool at any time, and it would just be a matter of people having to do it individually otherwise.
Any other discussion?
I just think that, it ties up the pool, right? And it
I
inhibits.
can honestly tell you, who ties up the pool are the people doing the pool class.
I'm just saying.
There's nobody else that comes in that complains about it. Oh my gosh, I can't go swim. Really.
I'm just saying, I've seen them, you got a lot of people exercising, and
Right,
it's like half the pool. And when the snowbirds come back, it'll probably be even more.
right.
So in fairness to the other people that, that want to swim, and I do see people out there early in the morning.
Yeah.
So I think in fairness to them. But thank you.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Don?
I forgot a couple of things. When we start the seawall project, there may be a period of a couple of days where we have to close the lower deck. And it may also affect Tuesday night activities for 1 or 2 Tuesdays. Just making everyone aware.
Anybody want to make a proposal on this or not? Leave it like it is. Nails for lack of. Okay. We're up for adjournment.
Can I ask him a question?
Pardon?
John, a question.
Question?
Yeah, I want to ask John something. John, when are we gonna fix the hot tub?
What's wrong with the hot tub, Eileen?
Only half of it works.
We installed the air pump for the other half. So I haven't heard any complaints since the new pump was installed.
I mean, the jets only come out on the one side, not the other.
Well, they work on both sides, Eileen. One is stronger than the other. I don't like where it's stronger, and I think a lot of other people don't. They want the milder jets. So you have a choice now. And the only difference is on if I'm facing the hot tub this way, the left side of the jets has air that was added. On the right side is a higher horsepower motor that is giving what we always had from day one. So the only thing that has changed is that we've increased the power on the left-hand side, which is where the problem was. But I've heard no complaints. As a matter of fact, most people like it this way because they have a choice.
Well, I've only noticed it coming out on the one side close to the parking lot.
Did you sit on that side or do you sit on the other side?
This is 2 weeks ago, okay?
Okay, do you sit on the side where it's more powerful?
Where the parking lot is, when you go to the other side.
That's the side that is more powerful. That was the side where aeration was added. But the other side is the way it's always been. That was never a problem. It's not as strong because we added to the other
I
side.
don't even notice anything coming out except
Oh,
water.
no, I sit on that side all the time.
Okay.
Okay, meeting adjourned. Open forum is up if anyone wants to speak.
All right, may I?
Go ahead, Sue.
Okay, a suggestion. Could the board please look into electronic voting and electronic messaging? It would eliminate a lot of the postage that we have to pay. It would also eliminate any complaints about unfair elections or they need to recount the ballots and all this. Because once you do it, when you have an election, the voting that is done online, not everyone has to. You still have to have some that are paper. But it all goes to the company that tallies it for you and gives you the results immediately as to what's happened. Also, it's a way of finding out the opinions of people without a formal vote. You can put a question on it, should we paint the clubhouse purple? And then you'd get back how many people went online, said, yes, paint it purple, no, don't paint it purple. It is not that, from what I have looked at before, it is not that expensive or that difficult. The one thing we have to do is get people to sign saying, I'll accept electronic messages. And then it can be that way. If somebody does not want to accept electronic messages through email or whatever, they do not have to. Those are the ones we would mail ballots and all that to. But everything could be there. If we had a notice to put out, you put the notice out not only on the bulletin boards or when meetings are or the agenda, it could be done the other way. Like the postcards that you have to send out now, you would only have to send it out to those that did not agree to the electronic. It would make life a whole lot easier for a lot of things. That's it.
Sue, I know you go to a number of the expos, and I know you've gotten quite a bit of information on this. Could you put it together a proposal and give us an idea of cost? And that would be great.
I shall.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon, Estella Lorente, 8041 Casarina Drive. I'm here in regards to several things that have happened since I moved here several months ago. And I had put together a letter for you all, and unfortunately, because I was not able to view the last meeting until a few days ago, I didn't get it in here in time. So the reason I'm here is because I have been given code violations in regards to trees in my yard. Just to give you a little bit of the backstory, the first week that I moved into my house, I had my next door neighbor come over to me and offer me money to pay for trees that are not even to be cut off, that are behind my yard, are not in my property. And of course, you know, I didn't answer yes or no to that, but it seems that ever since that happened, my problems have started. I have done a lot of landscaping. I put pavers around the yard. I've made it look very nice. All my grass was dead when I purchased the home. And now it has grass, it has flowers, it has some trees. About a week after I moved in, and we had that one first little incident about me not wanting to take $600 to cut the trees that are behind my house, because she was willing to help with that. And like I said, they're not in my yard. But after I started planting trees over the next several weeks, one day my neighbor came over and just rudely told me that I had to remove my trees. And I said, why? They're about 4 feet into my property. And she doesn't want tree waste in her yard. And she proceeded to tell me that she would chop my trees down, and if they started littering her yard. And I said, well, if it's in your yard, if there's a branch in your yard, definitely chop it down, you know. And if I see that there's any leaves or anything, I'll try to keep it clean for you, because I have landscaping too. So ever since that, it's just escalated and escalated. I have planted fruit trees in my yard. I have 2 fruit trees on the side, okay, and I have 2 in my backyard. And I have planted trees. I've planted crepe myrtles. I've planted orchids. I've planted all sorts of trees and plants and shrubbery and things like that. And then noticing the meeting that I was watching several days ago, I noticed for several of the members of up here were mentioning that I was blocking the eastman or eastway, or it's right here. I have a copy of it. I'm not blocking anything at all. There's no easement in my property. And then there was also some things said about the fact that, I'm blocking views. I don't see this happening to anyone else in the neighborhood. Most people have whatever they want on their yard, as long as it's within your covenants. And for some reason, I'm a new person here. My welcome was to be reported to you all, and then to receive a letter from you all telling me that I was in violation and that I would be fined. That's not a good look for someone when they first move into a community. You hope to be welcome, you hope to retire here. This is how you're greeted. I want to obey all your rules, but I want to know what rules I'm in violation of, because you pointed out lots of things, but you didn't point anything out specifically. You didn't tell me, what trees are wrong or what am I doing wrong. I noticed that here, most people plant whatever they want. Are you asking me to come to you for permission to plant trees? Or I don't know what the problem is. I need to be made aware of what I'm violating.
This is a deed restricted community.
Yes.
And I don't know if you've had a chance to look at.
Yes, ma'am, I have.
Everything.
I bought the house here, yes.
Yeah, and there's a lot of rules.
Yeah,
about what you can plant, what you can't plant.
Right, and
you have to go along with that.
yeah,
And
yes, ma'am, I do. But
So-
you cannot discriminate against me
I'm
and
not
point me out.
discriminating.
You don't know what I have in my yard for me to tell me that you're gonna fine me and violate me like that.
I don't know where your trees are.
Okay, wait,
I'm just saying-
exactly.
Let her answer you.
I'm just saying that we do have rules here.
Yeah.
I don't know if your trees are violating anything.
Right.
I haven't seen your trees.
But then again,
I'm
it
just
was
saying-
knocked down.
I'm just saying you have to go along with what's in our guidelines.
And I have.
You know,
So my
and
question
if
to
you're
you
going
all
along With
is,
the guidelines, you won't have an issue, but if you are, then
right,
you may get a
absolutely.
violation letter.
Absolutely. So what I need
You
from
can
you
only
all
plant
is,
so many fruit trees, you can only plant, you
right,
can't plant in easements.
right, and I'm in
And
compliance.
the county has rules too.
Absolutely, and I'm in
Okay,
compliance
so-
of that. I have proof right here, but I'm not in an easement. And again, you can check my yard. I invite all of you to come to my house, call me,
So-
and we'll make an appointment and you can come walk through my yard. It's just not fair that I am being told that I'm gonna be fine when there's, my neighbor that's complaining about me has a 40 foot hedge in the back. You know, I mean, how do you all pick and choose who you ask to do things and you don't? I mean, how does that happen? And that's all I want. I want to stay in compliance. I know that there's rules and that's why I live here because I
Did you
want
get a violation letter?
Yes, I've gotten 2 already. Yes. She's turned me in. She told me she turned me in. Yes,
Then
yes.
that should
And
have
did you
been
go to
much
the
longer.
office and explain what was
Yes,
planted?
ma'am. And I wrote, and last month, you all, I wrote something, I sent you pictures and you all made the statements that you made because I saw it online and I'm here to dispute that.
Estelle, I'm gonna fill in a blank that there's, she's the homeowner that you had an ARC request for tree plantings at the last meeting and you denied that request.
You can go to the planning committee afterwards and plead your case there.
Well, so you all don't make those decisions? You all were not the ones who said, you know, that you made a movement for me to be fined?
If the board finds you,
Mhm.
then you have an opportunity to go before.
Well,
It's kind of like a
absolutely, but-
committee of your peers. You go to the finding committee
Mhm.
and they will call you or get in touch with you and you can plead your case to them.
So me coming here will do nothing.
We
You
set
all,
we set the fine
right,
and
but I'm not,
they determine whether it sticks or not.
okay, but I'm not.
And you can plead your case to them.
Absolutely, I will do that, but I am not, I do not have more trees, fruit trees than I should, and they're not in the wrong place, so what's the problem? That's what I want to know. I'm here to find out why I am not in compliance. What made you all decide, being that you've never even been to my house, what made me be out of compliance? How did you come to that conclusion?
I have been to your house.
Okay, go ahead.
I walked up both sides. You have a plethora of trees and bushes planted, which is not a problem.
Right,
I don't know what you have planted.
right.
We were told that there were more than 2 fruit trees. There
And
are
you believed it.
If you got the letter, all you had to do was come in and say,
I
these
did.
are not fruit trees.
I did.
And who did you sell that to?
I came up to the front and I presented the letter, which you all decided to last month to, you know, say that I was not in compliance. So
That
yes,
would
that
have
was,
gone through the ARC committee. Is that what you put in, an ARC request?
yes, I
For
did.
the plantings.
Yeah,
Did you identify what was planted?
I did. And I took pictures too. I brought, there's lots of pictures with.
Do you have 2 trees on each side of your house?
No, ma'am.
2 trees between the 2?
I have two fruit trees. I have lots of trees, but the things in question here are the fruit trees. which
Correct.
It's only 2. And then I was also told that I had the meeting when you all spoke last week, because I watched it very carefully. You all said that I had too many trees and you all didn't know what it was. And my question to you is do you go around asking everyone what they're planting?
If you're putting in landscaping, yes, you must turn that in to the ARC committee.
So anytime I plant a tree, I have to ask you all
If
for
you're putting
permission?
landscaping, not that if you
Okay,
plant a tree,
well,
no,
that's what
but
I'm-
if you're,
Okay.
there's only so much of your lawn that is allowed to be covered.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, and
So-
that's all
so-
in the ARC designation.
So that means that every hedge that's, you know, that is on my block, that's where I had put my trees, would have to come down to be even?
If
Is
you
that-
are planning to cover a large area of
No,
your
not at
yard,
all.
that's when you would have to put it in ARC
Okay,
committee.
but
No
there-
one said otherwise, but we were told that you had more than the amount of fruit trees
Mhm.
planted. The letters are sent out. It's very simple. You come back in and you say, this is what I
I
have
did.
planted.
I did.
No, you put in an ARC request. That does
Okay.
not have anything to do with your violations committee.
Okay, so now I
That
have to
you
go to the
turn in.
violations committee.
Yes, you can
Okay.
go to the finding committee. You can go to the office and tell them, I've taken care of this. It was never a problem. And that's how it's taken care of.
Okay, well, I will do that. And just as a note that I'd like to add, I am a new resident here and I do like it a lot. but there seems to be a lot of that going on. I mean, if you spend any time at the pool or the jacuzzi, you'll hear newer residents complain about someone in the neighborhood, I mean, try to make the feel that people that move here feel welcome, not start reporting them the first week they come here. That's horrible. It's a horrible look for a place. And I thank you for your time.
Could I have your address one more time?
Which address?
8041 Pasadena Drive.
Good afternoon. My name is Anita Barnes, 8320 High Point Circle. I'm in the Dollar Lake. I have a request, kind of suggestion. I have a small dog, as do many of the residents in the area. It would be really nice to have a small dog park, just a fenced area where the dogs can play. It'd be a minimal, it's a pretty minimal expense. Could be shared by any interested persons, and there's plenty. It's a very popular dog walking area along Ponderosa. There's a nice spot right there at La Madeira, across from the stop sign. There's already a bench, it's a shaded area. Doesn't need to be anything giant. There's other locations. It's just, it's a thought. It's a request for consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yellow Singer 14116. We're constantly, as residents, told by the board to speak up at the pool when we see violations. Now, if you'd like to go, last Friday, I don't know what time these people came in, but I came to the pool about 4:15. There was a gentleman sitting at the hot tub with a can next to him. And I said, "Excuse me, sir, you might want to remove the can." I said, "State law says we cannot have them that close to the hot tub or pool." He says, "I know, ha, ha, ha." I continued to put my stuff down, and then he continues to sit in the hot tub drinking whatever it was he was drinking. Later, a friend and I decided to go in the hot tub. Well, there were two little boys with this gentleman. I don't know whose family he was visiting with, but I believe the property owner was at the pool, but sitting over further by the men's room at a table. Anyway, one of the kids, he was jumping into the pool, which I don't care. I mean, you can tell I do my own hair. I don't care if I get splashed, but a lot of women don't care for that. My friend and I decided to go to the hot tub, and one of these little boys are sitting on the stairs in the hot tub. And my friend happened to mention that we don't even allow our grandchildren in the hot tub. And I didn't hear her say that. I went to the ladies' room. I came out. The kid, I had to walk around him. And I said to the father, he's not allowed in the hot tub. And he says, "I know, ha, ha, ha," and proceeds to let the kid sit there. So I said, "Well, I sure hope he doesn't do harm to his reproductive organs being in this hot water." And the guy proceeds to laugh. "I hope so too." So anyway, it does no good to say anything to people when they violate. So.
Did you ask him his name or?
I didn't ask him his name. He wasn't the resident. But you could probably look if you want to view it, it was Friday. I don't know what time they came in, but you could check with the fob by the camera to see who came in with two adults, a female and a male, and two small boys.
Thank you, Ann.
Oh, Dale Thompson at Cheetah Drive. I'm just curious. I wasn't going to come today, but then a few people said to me, no, you need to go. We can't go. Do that. How do you determine, and you probably know what I'm going to ask, how do you determine who can get to speak at the board meetings when you put in to be on the agenda and you're told that you can't? Who determines that a person can't be on the agenda?
I do.
You do. Okay, and how do you make that determination? You don't like somebody, or you're sick of listening to them, or?
Usually how I make a decision on that is if, when they send a letter and they want to come before the board, if it's something that we've already discussed and in the last meeting or whatever, I'm not gonna keep rehashing the same things over and over again.
That I can understand. I can totally understand that. I'll have to go back and find out if that was the case, because as far as I know, it wasn't. But also the other thing that I'm curious about, and I'm asking for somebody other than just myself, is what's with all the little white patio fences out here on Ponderosa? Are we allowed to fence in our patio now with a little white fence that we can put our dog out in?
No.
Why do those last four houses all have cute little white picket fences on their patios? It was like they all did it themselves or something all at one time.
Are you talking like a 12-inch fence for landscaping or?
No, it's like, you know where you have your closed-in porch and then like I've got that little patio. They've got like little white picket fences. Four brand new ones right down here. It's like they all did it at the same time, like.
I did notice that. I don't know. We're gonna have to look into that. I've noticed a couple of them here. I agree.
Yeah, and the reason that I'm asking that also is because the lady that just spoke, I mean, we all know it's Karen's neighbor, and I wish Karen was here, because Karen said she put up a little fence now in her backyard also. And now I'm just wondering, because I know I went through heck when I wanted to do a little fence with my little dog. So I'm just trying to figure out, okay, what's with all these little fences popping up now?
Thank you, Dale. Dave?
Yeah, I just got a quick question. I've been here 7 years and I've never seen the lake look like it does now. Like, I don't know what they call it, seaweed or what, but it needs to be treated. And if you go on the lower deck, which we do on Fridays, if you look over the side, there's garbage in there. And I think it needs to be cleaned up. And I also was wondering why they haven't done any treatment to get rid of is it seaweed? I'm not sure what it's called.
Algae, maybe?
Algae or whatever. But I notice it's worse now than it's ever been since I've been here. That's all.
Thank you. Seeing no other people having something to say, we'll close it. See you next month.